Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll start with chef architecture. So to understand any software, as I said, we should understand the architecture of the software. So it's very important you understand the architecture. You can ask as many questions as you want to understand this architecture. It is of no use to write a recipe or cookbook or advanced topic until unless you are aware of the architecture or how chef works. So in this session, what I will do is the agenda of this session is I will explain you the architecture of chef. We will install the components of chef. We will make a setup a lab environment. We'll install the chef workstation, chef nodes, and the chef server also. I will tell you, and then we'll make a small recipe to understand how the recipe is executed. We will not focus on the syntax and the structure of the recipe. Rather, we will focus how the recipe is executed in chef and how it works. So let's start. So in chef we have basically three components. These are three major components in chef: uh, the chef server, chef workstation, and the nodes, the compute nodes. So let's understand these three components. So what is let's start with chef workstation. So workstation is nothing but an interface on which the system engineers write the code, write the recipes. If I'm talking about recipes cookbook again and again, you might be confused if you're not aware of recipe cookbook. You might be, as you're working on chef, you might be aware of recipe cookbook, but let's not. Uh, Maybe you have a partial knowledge of that. Let's start from the scratch. So recipe, I will explain you what it. Let's references as a code or a script. So the engineer writes the uh, code on sitting on a workstation. It is an interface for the engineer, and then the code is nothing but the policies which will be applied to the nodes. Okay, and then this code, which what all code is written by the engineer sitting on a workstation, gets uploaded to chef server using a utility called knife. Knife is a utility which helps you to talk to the chef server. Knife is only installed on chef workstation. It is an interface. It is a which interface which helps you to talk to the chef server. So when you install chef workstation software, knife as a utility comes with it, with that software, which helps you to interact with the chef server. So basically the works in the workstation is the node from which we start building the infrastructure as a code. So chef is a configuration management. There are many. And we can discuss about the configuration management also. So there are many configuration managements in the industry: Chef, Puppet, this Ansible, SaltStack. So we are using Chef. So the objective of configuration management is to see infrastructure as a code. Earlier we used to modify the file or configuration manually. Now we have a perspective that we should manage the infrastructure with the code. So IaaC, infrastructure as a code, is written with the configuration management tools, and Chef is one of the configuration management tool in which we write the code to manage the infrastructure. So the engineer writes the code. This code is defined in a, you can say it's a policies which will be applied in future to the node which we need to manage with chef, and then this code is uploaded with a utility called knife to the chef server. Now policy, and what is in the chef server? Chef server contains policy information, node information, what all nodes are registered in the chef server, and indexed configuration data. So when you will talk about the index configuration data, the thing is when you uh, let's understand about the policy information, because we have talked about the policy in workstation. So all the policies goes to the chef server. And when you what are nodes? Nodes can be physical or virtual nodes. And in the node system, nodes which node are actually the system which you are trying to manage with chef. Okay, like your database server, web server, application servers, or log server. What all node you want to manage with chef is called as a node in the chef architecture. What all host you want to manage with chef is a node. So it can be a physical server, it can be a virtual server. And in the node, we have a software called chef client, which runs on the node and push the node in the desired state. Desired state. What is a desired state? So we'll talk about the desired state, but the architecture here. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, how it works. So here you see. Let's say node one we want to make it as a web server. Node 2 we want to make it as a database server. Node 3 we want to make it as a monitoring server. So what the engineer will do, he will log into the chef server. He will write three policies for web, for database, for monitoring server. It After writing the policies, the engineer will upload the policies to the chef server using knife, and then these policies will be applied to the respective nodes, node 1, node 2, or node 3, depending upon what node you want to make web server, database server, or monitoring server. So in this case, the node 1 is acting as a web server. So I have written here the policy node 1 run list role web server. So you will not understand this. This is recipe language, but basically what is written here is, since we have written the code for web server, which is a kind of role. If you have doing the Windows administration, there are various roles which we install. So a role is a bundle of softwares, we can say. So we have defined a web server role. We have written a policy web server role, and then we are applying this policy to the node 1. Similarly, we have defined the policy for written the policy for database, and then we apply to node 2. Similarly, monitoring node 3. So if you go to the next slide, so what happens? Knife upload policies to the chef server. As I told, knife will upload the policies to the chef server. Use knife to push the configuration of policies to the chef server. Okay. Then uh, if you then the let's not go further. uh, I want to make sure that the team understand this very well, then we'll move forward. What all questions you have, what all doubts you have, you can ask me right now. It may be if you have not studied chef earlier in detail, it may be difficult to understand. I understand, but you feel free to ask me anything. Pramod or Ravinder, anyone.
Rishi, Ravinder.
Yeah.
So I missed in the starting. So we don't make any changes on the chef server.
No.
Whatever the policies we are writing on WS. What it is? Workstation.
Workstation. This is workstation.
So we are writing policies in workstation and then pushing it to chef server, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Directly, we do not log into the chef server and write the policies. There is an interface which is a chef workstation, in which
Mm-hmm.
engineer works and write the code. This workstation is only for writing the code and writing the policies, writing the recipes and
Okay.
cookbooks. That's it. Once the recipe writing is done by the engineer, the code will
Mhm.
be uploaded to the chef server. The policy will be uploaded to the chef server.
Okay. Got it. And then if uh, I want to run a particular policy, I can run it from node 1, 2, or 3
That
as
I
per
will
the requirement.
Yeah, that I will tell you. Yeah, you can uh, see. That I will tell you in the bootstrap process how it works. So basically the three
Okay.
components you should understand: chef server has policies and the node information,
Mhm.
what all nodes are registered to manage. What are nodes? Nodes are actually the host which you are trying to manage with chef. These are the
Mhm.
actual nodes which are our concern, which we need to manage. These are the system softwares which actually helps us to here we write the code, here we upload the code. Node will never interact directly with workstation. Node will always interact with chef server.
Okay.
Workstation
And
policies are in chef server. Node information is in chef, or what all nodes are there which needs to be managed. The information should be with the chef server. The recipes are written in workstation. The recipes are uploaded with knife command, and then
mhm.
the policies are applied on the respective nodes.
This is a one-time
No, no, it
task,
is
right?
it.
In
See,
workstation, if we have to write recipe, and then we will upload it to chef server. This is a one-time task,
this
and
is a
if we
one-time
need
task.
certain changes, then again we will write those changes in workstation and push the changes in chef server.
Right, correctly, very very correct. You understood the concept. This is the main thing.
Okay.
Will you will get a clear idea when I move forward in the presentation. So
Mhm.
I think everyone is aware now, clear what is chef server, workstation, and nodes. And these are the policies which are written by the engineer. These are the policies, and these policies will are written on the chef server. It's uploaded to chef's. These policies are written in chef workstation, uploaded to chef server, and then using the knife command. And then what happens? Let's see. Let This is a very very important topic: bootstrap process, and it may be difficult to understand in one go. So you can ask me as many questions as you want. So so uh, policies are written on a chef workstation, is uploaded with knife command. Now we want to manage node 1 with chef. So node 1 should have chef client's RPM or a software installed. It should have the cookbook downloaded, and it should execute that cookbook or recipe or code to make it as a web server, database server, or a monitoring server, whatever it is. So uh, let me see if I have. So uh, what happens is, what is a bootstrap? So you might have heard bootstrap word a lot when we were working in chef. So what is bootstrap actually? Bootstrap is contains multiple steps. When we are, let's say I someone is saying, okay, you bootstrap node 1. What actually it means? Bootstrap means we want node 1 to participate in chef, so that we can manage node 1. How it will participate? Node 1 In node 1, chef client should be installed. In node 1, etc chef client.rb file should be there. In node 1, we should tell the node 1 which is our chef server, which is inside this file. We will point the node 1 to the chef server which is inside this file, and then we will run chef client command. What chef client command does, we will see what in later slides. So in bootstrap, these are the steps which are performed. Chef client is installed. etc chef client.rb file is created. In this file, we point to the chef server, what is our chef server, and then we run the chef client command. This is actually bootstrap. Bootstrap in other terms is, we are registering the node 1 to the chef server. For registration, we need to tell node 1 which is our chef server. Okay, this is the file in which we will tell which is our chef server. And then to understand the chef language, what is chef server, how to interact with chef server, we need a software which is chef client. And then we execute the chef client command. We'll see what chef client command does. So bootstrap we are registering the node to the Chef server so that we can manage it. This is Bootstrap. Any doubts? I hope this topic should have doubts. Some questions. More questions we
I
ask, more clarity you will get.
I have a question.
Hmm.
The first step is when we install the Chef client. Okay, we can download the RPM and client package is installed. But how this client RB file will generate? When means it is automatically generated when we install the package, or when we registered with the server, then it is automatically created, or we need to create it manually.
So it's a good question. So what happens is when you bootstrap a node, when you bootstrap a node, automatically the chef client.rb file is created and automatically the chef server is registered there. You don't need to edit manually.
Okay.
And now you will say,
Okay.
now you will say how the automatically the information is there in chef.client. Let's say I install chef client RPM. The RPM is can be downloaded from any from the chef's
Right.
website. How the chef okay, I agree, etc chef client.rb file is created automatically as a part of the RPM, but how the configuration is there in client.rb which is pointing to chef server.
So, right, after installing the RPM, means do I need to execute any command so that it will communicate with the means it will register with the
See,
server?
if
With
you are
that
in,
command we need to run from client or from the server.
see uh, let's say you install an RPM, chef client RPM, right? Chef
Right.
client is not an RPM, chef is an RPM which has a chef client command.
Mhm.
Okay, so chef client binary is there, and this and the related files are also there. One of the related file is etc chef client.rb. If you
Mhm.
install chef RPM because you want to manage this node, client.rb will be there, but how the information will be there in client.rb is, which will refer to chef server. This is the
Mhm.
question, right? So
Right.
so we actually bootstrap a node. We register on, in other words, we register the node not by downloading the chef RPM and then configuring manually. We bootstrap the node from chef workstation.
Okay.
We bootstrap the node from chef workstation. Chef workstation is already having the chef server information, and automatically it will put the required information in etc chef client.rb. We'll see further this, okay, in practical.
So Rishi, I'm sorry, I'm so does node one connects to chef workstation, then it goes to chef
No,
server
no.
like this or
Chef
something?
workstation connects to node 1. It's not node 1 will connect to chef workstation. In a chef
So how
workstation,
node one will?
let me explain you. In chef workstation, you will execute a command knife bootstrap the IP address of node 1 and few options you will enter. Then what will happen? Chef workstation will log in to node 1. It will with SSH. It will download the chef client software. It will create the file and make the required entries and automatically point the node 1 to chef server. So
Okay, but we are not working on chef workstation, right? We are working only on nodes.
no, you have to work on chef workstation. You means you will write the policies in chef workstation, right?
Suppose I am working on a server,
So
like we are working on a server. So that is not a chef workstation, right? Those are nodes on which we provision our VMs.
see that those are the nodes, and you provision the software on the manage the node. You execute chef client, and then the things are happened, and all the cookbooks are downloaded and
Right.
things get installed. So
Mhm.
but actually that node has to be registered. either it has to be registered to the chef server, which is a bootstrap process. You will until and unless you don't do bootstrap, it will not connect to chef server. It will not come to know which is my chef server, and it will not do anything. So we'll understand this in practically. So for now, you will see, once you do practical, you will understand more. The bootstrap process is nothing but bootstrap process is nothing but you are registering the node to the chef server so that we can manage the node in chef. And in bootstrap process, these things are happen. The chef client is installed, client.rb is created, it is information is there to which refer to chef server, and then you execute as a part of bootstrap. Chef client is also executed after doing all these things. So we'll see to it in practical. So last slide, once the post registration of node to chef server, once the node is registered to chef server, let's say node is registered to chef server now. Okay, now this node will say, okay, what should I run? I have registered myself to chef server. What is my role? What should I run? So in policies, you have defined node 1 should be web server. Let's say you have written the policies in workstation and you have defined node 1 should be web server. In the initial slide, I have showed you the policies for node 1, right? So you will not understand this code, but just keep in mind that we have a policy for node 1, which will be a web server. So once the node is registered to chef server, node 1 will contact the chef server. Okay, what should I run? Chef server say, okay, you are node 1, you should be the web server. Okay, you take the role of web server. It will download the role of web server and it will execute. So nodes download all the scripts from the chef server. Chef client executes all the scripts, make sure that all the components are installed, for example web. Similarly, node 2 will contact chef server. Okay, I am node 2, what should I run? Okay, you are database server, you take the role of database server. Okay, download the role of database server. After downloading the role of database server from chef server, execute chef client will execute the code. Okay, node 3, you are what should I run? Okay, you, as per the policy which is there with me for you, policies say that you should be a monitoring server. So you take the monitoring role. Okay, I will take the monitoring role. I will run the monitoring role. Who will run the monitoring role? Chef client. Download chef client. What chef client will do? Chef client will contact the chef server. It will ask for policy, what policy I should run. It will download the policy from chef server and then it will execute the chef automatically. Any doubts?
No, it's fine.
No.
No.
So we'll see the installation. Once we do it practically, you will understand the concept more clearly. Okay? We'll do the installation. So installation of, we have 3 components: chef server, node, chef workstation. So with 3, obviously we need 3 nodes. If we have only 1 node to manage, 1 chef server and 1 chef workstation. So in chef workstation, the RPM is chef workstation. In chef server, there you have to install chef server RPM. You have to create a user, which will be the admin user, and you will have to create an organization. So let's say there are 3 organizations in a 3 sub organization in company, let's say. So we have GBucks, we have provisioning, we have DCO, we have compute engineering. So 3 sub organizations are there under GBucks. So each sub organization will be having a different URL or different organization is a logical container which has the nodes, users, everything. So inside an organization, you have the compute nodes which you will manage inside the organization. You have the users. You will, when you install the chef server, you have to also create a user, which will be the admin user. We'll see how we'll do it. Then in nodes, you have to only install chef client. So on nodes, only chef client will be installed. As I told you in the bootstrap process, how the chef client is downloaded from the and it gets installed in chef workstation, and these are the components in chef server. So basically, we'll see how it's done. So chef workstation, you have this link. You go to this link. Let me open this. So I have opened this link. So this is the link, downloads.chef.io. So we are down. We are now what we are trying to do. We are down. We are installing Chef Workstation. So we'll go to this link, downloads.chef.io. We'll see Chef Works. There are various components. We'll not study this in very much detail. So we are concerned about the Chef Workstation. Download Chef Workstation. You will click here. Now this page will give you the workstation can be installed on Linux. It can be installed on Mac. It can be installed on Windows, Debian, any platform. So and let's say we want to install on Linux, go to Linux. Then you can select the version which you want to install, and then let's say I want to install on RHEL 7, or okay, and then you will click download, and then you will get the chef workstation is getting downloaded. Okay, you see here. Then you copy this RPM to the Linux machine. We will be installing on Linux, and your chef workstation is ready. So they have bundled. uh, Chef workstation contains a lot of files. So this is a bundle which contains all the files which will be necessary to which are required to create a chef workstation. So I have already created a chef workstation here. So as per my lab is concerned, I will show you my lab. This is I'm using VMware workstation. So this is chef workstation, node 17, node 18 are the nodes which I will manage, okay, currently, and this is my chef workstation. So I'm logging with putty here. This is my chef workstation. I've already installed chef. So let's see uh, the RPM of chef, what I've installed. So this is the RPM which is installed on this machine to make it as a chef workstation. So once you install this RPM on this machine, your chef workstation is ready. You don't need to do anything. Okay. Where is my PPT? Okay. So it's that simple. Just choose your platform, choose a version you want to install, download it, and install it. Then let's talk about this chef server. So chef server, there are various options. Uh, One is hosted chef. Hosted chef is like a pass platform as a service, which is already chef server is already hosted by chef company, and you can use that URL, that hosted chef server, to manage your nodes. Okay, so hosted chef is a already the solution is already uh, there on the internet, on the cloud. You just log in to that URL, and you can start managing your nodes. You can register your chef nodes to that chef server, hosted chef server. We'll see how we'll do. We'll see practically. So the advantage of hosted chef server is it's highly available because it's managed by the company itself. The ops code is a company name, I guess. It's managed by chef, and it's license based. So if you have, let's say, 100 nodes you want to manage with hosted chef server, so each node you have to pay the price of the license. So by default, I guess 25 nodes are free. That's why we will do the practicals on hosted chef. I think 25. I checked the document, the site. 25 nodes you can register. You can play with it. It's free. More than 25 nodes subscription, if you do, it will ask for the money, and then you can manage it. So we will work on the hosted chef server. You can also download the open source version of chef server. The disadvantage is many features are not available, like high availability, and means you have to manage your like if Chef server is down, you have to make a cluster or Linux cluster or any cluster, then you have to give it a high availability feature also. So you can download the open source version. You can also download the enterprise version, which is available in Chef. Then you have to the you can register a call with the Chef guys, and you can they can help you troubleshoot. The open source version is for testing. This is not supported. So we will see the hosted Chef. We will not deploy the Chef server altogether because already the solution is available with Chef. So so for hosted Chef server, you have to go to this site. Sorry. So let's say I log out to this. Let me show you. So I'm in this site manage.chef.io. So I have created my user account. You can also create your user account, your organization, what you want to manage. For my lab environment, I have created a user account. I have created my organization. To sign up with this, you have just go to this get started to click here to get started. Fill this form, and then you will get the username, password, and then you can log into manage.chef.io, and you can manage your nodes. Just you have to fill this form, sign in here. You can try this after this class. So you can fill this form, you will get the username, password, and then you can log in. So I already have the username, password, and organization created. So I will log in. My username is chef for Rishi, and password is there. I sign in to this portal. Now let's see here. I have one node already registered, node 17. So node 17 is this node. This is already registered with chef. Okay, this is the we'll see in detail. We will see in detail how actually this happens. But I'm just showing you that chef hosted chef. This is the interface, and you can register the nodes. I have registered one node, node 17. Node 18 will do the live registration in this class. We'll see the bootstrap, how the bootstrap works and all. So this is your manage.chef.io, the hosted chef. So sign up for the first time. It will ask for username. It will ask to create an organization, but should be globally unique. When you create an organization, so this manage.chef.io is a public site. The organization name should be unique. Okay, let's say you're creating an organization like Jai Bharat, let's say, for example. So Jai Bharat organization already exists. So it will say, no, choose another name. It should be globally unique. So organization is what? Organization is a logical container, as I was explaining you. Organization is a logical container which contains nodes and users which belong to one organization. So like in Oracle is an organization, right? We are employees. We have specific nodes in which we work. The workstation, we have our own workstation. So this is like similarly in Chef we have an organization, and in that organization we have the nodes which will be managed and the users which will manage. So when you create an organization first time, it will ask now. You have logged into Chef server, hosted Chef. You have created a user account. You have logged in. You have created an organization. Now you want to configure your Chef workstation. You have to configure your Chef workstation so that it points to your Chef server. Am I correct? See, you
Yes.
have created an account in Chef server, but Chef server doesn't know who is my workstation, because ultimately the policies which you will write in Chef workstation will be uploaded to Chef server. So Chef server should know what is my workstation. So to configure your workstation so that it points to your organization and what new organization you have created, you have to download starter kit. download starter kit, bundle of multiple files that can be used to set up your workstation. So they have given you a starter kit. The starter kit is a .zip file which they have given you. What is the purpose to give you this starter kit? Every organization has their own starter kit. What is the purpose to give you starter kit? You can download the starter kit from the hosted Chef interface, which is manage.chef.io for that organization, and then you can copy that starter kit to your Chef workstation, which you have, where you have installed Chef workstations software, which you are thinking that this will be my Chef workstation. You will download the starter kit to the Chef workstation, unzip it, and then you have pointed your Chef workstation to Chef server. We will see how it works. So I have an organization, 3 organizations I have: Jai Bharat, R Kapoor, and Tech Insight. So R Kapoor organization, I go to administration. I go to R Kapoor organization. So here it says starter kit. Go to starter kit, download starter kit, download starter kit. So what I'm trying to do is I am downloading starter kit for R Kapoor organization. Once it's downloaded, I will copy to workstation. I will unzip it, and then my workstation will automatically point to the Chef server, and I am good. My Chef server workstation connectivity between the workstation and the Chef server is all set. So the starter kit is nothing. It contains few files which we'll see. So I'm not doing this. I have already downloaded it. So for my organization, I have created a directory called R Kapoor. So here I have downloaded the starter kit. This is my starter kit. Okay. Chef starter.zip. So when I unzip it, I will get Chef repo directory. Let's go to the Chef repo directory. Inside Chef repo directory, you will see this cookbooks and this. So inside this, you will find a hidden directory called .chef. Inside .chef, you will find config.rb. So few workstations have knife.rb, few have config.rb, is one and the same thing. So config.rb. So this is the file in workstation which will tell the workstation, okay, which is my Chef server and what is my username password to log into Chef server. So my username is Chef for Rishi, which is the account, and the password, we are not entering the password, we are using the certificate. This is the certificate, and this is my organization. This is my Chef server hosted server URL. Under organization, I have R Kapoor. So directly my workstation will point to R Kapoor organization, and it will log in. Chef server will log into my Chef Chef workstation will log into my Chef server using this username and using this certificate to this organization. Any doubts?
So these keys are a part of the file which you downloaded.
This I have not edited manually anything. It is the part of the starter kit. When you are downloading the starter kit, automatically the bundle of these files are there in the zip file. You unzip it, you can verify with the contents of config.rb. This is the username, this is the certificate, this is the URL of the Chef server. Now how to verify, once you are downloaded, how to verify whether my connectivity between the Chef workstation and Chef server is good? The command is knife client list. So knife command client list should show you one file. Now you will be asking that there are no notes. It will show you. It will not show you any note. It will show you a validator file. This should be present. If this is there, that means your connectivity is good between the Chef workstation and Chef server. So I don't know, it's taking time. In the meantime, this is your starter kit. So every organization has its own starter kit. So here you see, this is the organization name, and this is the validator, the hyphen validator. This is actually a one kind of key which is there on the chef server, which key means symmetric encryption or asymmetric encryption is used to between the chef workstation and chef server. So this should be displayed. My notes 18 note 17 is already there, to just forget about this. This should be displayed. That means your connectivity is good. So unzip the zip file, put the zip file and to the your home directory if you want, and then you are all set. So what's inside .chef? Inside .chef you will find config.rb, which is having the information about the chef server, where to point, what is the username, password, the certificate, everything is there. Chef knife chef list, knife client list should is the way to see the connectivity. If you are seeing this information, org name was arcaport hyphen validator, you're all good. Next, go to next slide. So in the next slide, I have given one of the example. We are trying to create a recipe, but before creating a recipe, I want to show you the bootstrap process. Then maybe we don't have time, or 10 minutes. Then in the next session, maybe we can walk through this slide. So bootstrap we'll understand. So very important, and we will see in detail how it works. So currently we have a node 17 installed, a node 17 registered on the chef server. We have node 18 also. So let's register. So I'm thinking that node 18 should, I want to manage with chef. So the very first step is to bootstrap node 18 to the chef server. Bootstrap means we are registering node 18 to the chef server. How we'll do it? Knife bootstrap. So before bootstrapping, let's ensure that we do not have any chef client RPM on. We do not have chef client. Okay, we do not have anything kind of things. So let me bootstrap it. The knife bootstrap the command. Now what we are trying to do is we are trying to bootstrap node 18 from this chef workstation. Okay, knife bootstrap the IP of the node 18 machine 192.168.10.18 hyphen x username hyphen p capital V password hyphen capital N node 18.example.com. Now let's see what this command means. The spelling of bootstrap is incorrect. Bootstrap. So can anybody tell me what this command does? I've explained bootstrap a lot. Just I want to see the feedback of you, like how you are getting or not, or
So it will register node 18 with the username as root and password as setup.
See what it will do, exactly what it will do. We want node 18 to get registered to chef server so that we can manage node 18. So knife bootstrap, this what command will do. We are executing from the workstation. Chef workstation will SSH to 10.18 with username this, password this, and it will download chef client to node 18, because chef client is a software which has to be there on the node which you want to manage. It will create etc client chef.rb. It will make the necessary entries. It will execute chef client. Now let's see. I am executing this. So it's saying, okay, I want. So this is when you try to do SSH to a new machine, the keys are not there. So you have to press yes first time. Then connecting to 10.18. See here, connecting to 10.18. Chef workstation is connecting to 10.18. Creating a new client, node18.example.com. Creating new node. I will tell you what is client, what is node afterwards. Bootstrap 10.18. Install Chef. See, it is downloading Chef from packages.chef.io. Automatically, is downloading the package Chef. It is downloading on 18 node, 10.18, which is this node. Okay, preparing. Okay, it will take some time. So guys, any doubts, anything you have? See, installing Chef. It's trying to install Chef on node 18. So can anybody tell me why it's installing Chef on node 18?
So that it gets connected to the chef.
Interact with Chef server. Act with Chef server.
So that it can be managed with Chef. This node can be managed with Chef, and
Yes.
that we need Chef
Yes.
software, right, to get managed with Chef.
Right.
Pramod, you are there?
Yes.
Are you getting?
Yeah, I'm getting.
So it will download. Now it's installing background the Chef. Thank you for installing Chef infra client on node 18. It's now, after I told you, after installing Chef, what it will run, it will execute Chef client command, starting Chef infra client.
Rishi, meanwhile, can you show on 18 server client.rb file?
Yeah, I'm just let it get finished, and then I will show you exactly what's happened step by step.
Mhm.
So it takes time. It will download from the internet, packages.chef.io, and then it installed. So basically, the steps which are performed, you can go through again. This PPT I will share to the team. You guys can review it. It will install Chef. It will create this file. It will do the modification in this file. It will run Chef client. So Chef client is run, converging 0 resources. There are no cookbooks. There is nothing. There is nothing in the run list. I will tell you what is run list, but there is nothing there. So nothing happened. Now let's see what happened. etc chef client.rb is already there. You can see the URL is R Kapoor, organization is R Kapoor. This is a validator key which is required to, this is a key which is there, which should be there to talk to the Chef server. And this is the node which is registered. Now, Chef client software is already there. Chef client will run. Earlier it was not running. Chef client will run, although it has run automatically when we did bootstrap. So here what we did, we bootstrapped the node 18. Now it's registered to Chef server. Let's go to the hosted Chef server page. Node 18 should be there now. So node 18 is registered a minute ago. It is registered. We'll see more in detail about this attributes and all maybe in the next class, next session. So this is an IP address. Now, before we wind up this, Megha, any questions you have? Like this, you are telling me.
No, Rishi. Training was very good.
Okay. So now what we will do, we will now, before we wind up this, I am not telling you, because it will be too much to grasp in one day. I am not giving you the recipe code, how to write a recipe and all. Architecture is clear. But one thing I need to tell you before we wind up the session, as I told you in this presentation here, this one. Okay. Now, node 1 is registered. Let's say node 18 is registered to chef server. We have registered. We have done bootstrap. It's registered. Now we haven't tell the which policy to apply to node 18. So it has not downloaded anything. Do you agree?
Yes, it is just registered.
Just registered. Now there are various ways from the command line to attach the policy to node 18. Okay, let's say this is node 18, to attach the policy with node 18. So we will, let's say I attach a policy, some policy. Let's say I have created a Apache cookbook. I have attached to the, I want to attach to node 18. Means when node 18, node 18 should be web server. I am clear. The node 18 should be web server. Now I have, for making node 18 as a web server, I have to attach a policy of web server to node 18. So let's attach a policy to node 18. Let's attach a policy. Node 18, edit run list. So there is a recipe. Recipe is nothing but a code which makes a server as a web server. Let's attach it. What I have done is I am giving you a GUI understanding. GUI I'm using to make you understand, though we will not use GUI. What I have done is, to node 18, I have attached a policy, save run list. Now, can anybody tell me how to see what all policies are there on the node? I have attached a policy to node 18. I am sure that I want to make node 18 as a web server. Now I have attached the policy here. If you see, I have attached the policy here, edit run list. Node 18 has this policy, Apache policy. Okay. Now to anyone promote Ravinder? No. Knife.
No, no.
Live
Knife.
list. Live
Node,
list.
knife node show.
Yeah.
Node 18.example.com. I have attached one policy to the node 18. I am seeing whether the policy has been attached or not. I want to make node 18 as a web server. Let's see. I don't know, my system is, though its configuration is good, but it's a bit slow. I'm not sure why it is, or maybe I'm not sure the reason. See, so node 18, this is the IP address. This is the policy which we attached, right? Apache.
Yes.
The feedback is not there, so everyone is getting right. This is the policy attached. So can node 18, node 18 is a web server now?
Sorry?
Node
Hello?
18, I have
Yeah,
attached.
it has a policy of web server,
No,
so yeah.
it is
can
just
say.
means added
Not
into the policy. You have to run the means cookbook or rule.
I have attached a policy of Apache recipe to node 18. Node 18 is a web server? No. Policy is attached, but it is not downloaded yet from the chef server. I have defined the policy. Okay, node 18 should be web server. It is not downloaded. So how it will get download?
chef client.
Chef client. Now see, it will contact the chef server. Acha, okay, I am node 18. Is there any policy for me? Yes, there is one policy, Apache. Okay, download, give me. Give me. I will download it and then I will execute it. Let's see it gets executed or not. Let's see. So you can run chef client -l info to get the detailed information. So it's CC run list is Apache recipe of Apache, right? Earlier it was blank. Now it is
Yes.
installed. It is installing Apache. Action install Apache. Okay. see yum package Apache action install. Then it will start the service. So this Apache cookbook, we have written, means I was practicing it, so I have written. I will show you how to write it. It's very simple. But before we stop this session, we should be clear about the run list. It's very important. So it's installing the Apache. We will verify after the installation whether this node 18 is a web server or not afterwards. So Apache cookbook loading Apache cookbook. The version of Apache cookbook is 0.1.0. Synchronizing cookbook. It is downloading it, and then it will install it. So install package modify index.html. Okay, done. 4 resources modified, done. So let's see. The IP address of this machine is 18. Let's see. 18. Let's open the web page. 18. What happened? Linux or something might be there. I don't know what's happening. Maybe the recipe. Let's see. Recipe.
This needs to be restart.
Restart should be. It should do restart also as well.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
right.
this is start service.
Correct.
It's 8.1.18. The IP tables is there.
Mm.
So let's do it again. So let's open this. So here you see, hi team, this page is created by Chef. It's Chef. So earlier it was not web server. We just attach the policy, execute Chef client. Policy is downloaded, recipe is downloaded. Automatically, it's executed by Chef client, and your node is now web server. So if we do again, so you see the difference here. Earlier run list was only run list was there, recipe Apache. Now it should show you the what all recipes are applied to this node.
But this command is a little confusing. Chef hyphen client hyphen ln info. With the info, it is installing the package. I thought it will give you only the information, and for the installation there should be another command.
For Moth,
Yeah.
okay, recipe is here, right? You see the difference. Earlier recipe was not run list was there, but recipe. But now you will see the recipe is already up. This means the recipe is applied. So Pramod, your question, I didn't got your question. What you are trying to say?
No, means the command which is there in the chef client hyphen l and then info. I thought that command will give you the information about the package or the run list, but it is installing as well. It is giving information and it is installing as
Yeah,
well.
it is doing. It is a like you see the logs in a verbose mode. It is like if you do chef client also, it will install. Hyphen L I have given you to show you the run list and the cookbook which is downloading and resolving.
Okay, okay. Means if I will run the chef client only chef client, so it will automatically
Install.
check the available recipes and it will install, right?
When you do chef client, it will contact the chef server. It will tell you, it will ask, okay, chef server, give me my policies. Is there any policy to apply? Okay, these are the policies. It will try, it will try to install that policies. If the policy is already applied, it will not do anything. If the policy is not
Okay.
applied, it will apply it.
Right, right. Okay, okay, okay.
So if there are multiple policies, so it will apply all.
See, let's say I have created a cookbook users, a small cookbook which will create a users. So attach it, save it. Sorry, save this. Now let's do chef client. Now do chef client. What it will do? Can anybody guess what it will do?
Creation.
Yeah, it will download. It means it will
It will
download the
download.
users.
It will download. It will. Okay, it will go to the chef server. Node 18. I'm Node 18. Give me the policies. You have two policies: Apache and users. Apache, take it if you want. It will download it and it will say, it will try to apply. It is already applied. No use. Users, it is not applied. Okay, let's see. Resolving policies, cookbook, Apache, and users. Apache, though it is already applied, but it will see. It is the in bracket is giving you up to date, nothing to do. Users, it in green, if you see, it has done some changes. It has created a user gbucks underscore user one, gbucks underscore user two, and it has created a group. It has created a group gbucks. So basically, you gbucks underscore user one is a user which is created just now with inside a group gbucks. So I have just attached the policy and executed chef line. So this is the workflow actually. This is the architecture. This is the workflow. This is what happens when you do what is the boot. So in this session, basically, the foundation should be clear. What is chef server? What is chef's workstation? What are nodes? What is the bootstrap process? Um, Knife is a command to upload the recipe to the chef server. Chef client, what it does, this should be clear. So I think we are already 7 minutes over. If any questions before we wind up, we can do further sessions continuing this. We will do what is OHI, what is how to write a cookbook, how to write a new cookbook, how to write a recipe, and what are resources. These we can do in continuous, even though I am also learning it. See, I did a chef with Mega, and we did a long time back, but I didn't
5 years back.
5 years back, and we didn't focus much on that, to be very frank. So I have studied this on my own self study. I have done some books and all. So I am myself learning it, and it's a good opportunity for me also to just share my knowledge and get the more understanding what the concept is. Any questions you have on this, you can ask me. 2-3 minutes we can take before we wind up this. Don't hesitate, because in next sessions maybe the topics will be advanced. Okay, we'll create a recipe. Actually, we'll create an Apache recipe. We will upload the recipe. We'll download the recipe. We will make changes to the recipe. So we'll do all the. We will study what is OHI, what is how the package are installed, what is happening behind the scene. So chef works uniformly with for all the operating system. How it is possible that chef understands Mac, chef understands Windows, chef understands Linux. We'll study. We'll try to understand that also. So Pramod, any questions?
You can stop recording. Meanwhile, yeah.
Okay, I'm stopping recording.
So when you will close this meeting, your recording will save somewhere in your documents file. So just upload it to the provisioning channel. I can upload to the Aura
Where
Docs.
where to stop?
When, same way like when you started.
Stop share is there. You can see my screen.
I can see, but I cannot see those buttons
Pause
which you
recording.
have.
Stop recording. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
So it should store somewhere in the folder, and then I will upload it
Upload to
to the.
the provisioning channel. I